If I told you that a simple act, a single minute of chewing, could send a wave of life back through your body, awakening your blood, your energy, and even your manhood, would you believe me? Not a pill, not a surgery, not another empty promise. Just 1 minute, one natural movement, and your body begins to remember how to feel alive again. Most men overlook it, yet it's one of the most powerful, science-backed habits for restoring strength where it matters most. My name is Dr. Mohit Khera. I'm a board-certified urologist with over 3 decades of experience helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality naturally. I've seen men who had lost their confidence, their spark, their sense of control, and I've watched them rebuild it without medication. What I'm about to share with you comes from years of clinical work, real patient transformations, and science that's finally catching up to what nature already knew. Here's what most people don't realize. Your body's ability to perform isn't gone, it's asleep. And the signal that wakes it isn't chemical, it's physical. It begins with what you chew, how you chew it, and the message that sends through your nervous and vascular systems. This is where the paradox lies. Your power doesn't start below the waist, it starts in your mouth. By the end of this video, you'll understand how 1 minute of mindful chewing can restore your blood flow, recharge your hormones, and reignite your natural energy without a single pill. And in just a moment, I'll reveal exactly which nut to chew, how to do it, and why this simple ritual has been quietly transforming men's health around the world. Before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another science-backed health tip designed specifically for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments to show your support. If not, type 0 and tell me what kind of advice you'd like me to share next. Now, let's begin with the truth every man over 60 needs to hear. The real reason your energy fades, your drive weakens, and your confidence slips isn't age itself. It's what's happening inside your blood vessels. Once you understand this, you'll see how easily strength can return. 1. The truth about male vitality after 60. Let me speak to you as a man who spent decades listening to the quiet frustrations of other men. Good men who built families, worked hard, and carried responsibilities with pride. At some point, almost every one of them came to me and said the same thing. Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore. They weren't just talking about the bedroom, they were talking about that inner spark. The steady confidence that used to come so easily, the energy to wake up with purpose, the sense of strength in their body, clarity in their mind, and pride in being who they are. Somewhere along the way, it all began to fade. Now, here's what I want you to understand. That fading power isn't a sign that you're broken. It's not even a sign of old age. What's really happening is biological, not irreversible. Over the years, your body loses its ability to produce a small but powerful molecule called nitric oxide. Think of it as your body's internal on switch. It's the signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and open up so blood can flow freely to every organ, including your heart and your manhood. When you were younger, your nitric oxide levels were high, and every system in your body responded instantly to desire, to energy, to excitement. But as time goes on, stress, processed foods, lack of movement, and even certain medications slowly drain that supply. Without enough nitric oxide, your arteries stiffen, your energy drops, and your erections become weaker, not because you've lost manhood, but because your blood can't reach where it needs to go. Imagine your arteries like a garden hose. When you're young, that hose is flexible, smooth, and open. Water flows with ease, but as you age, the hose becomes kinked and less responsive. The pressure builds in the wrong places, and nothing flows the way it should. That's what's happening inside your body when your nitric oxide levels fall. It's not your heart's fault. It's not even your hormones' fault. It's that the signal for relaxation and circulation has been muted. The good news? You can bring that signal back. Your body still knows how to make nitric oxide. You just have to feed it the right ingredients and stimulate it the right way. And here's the part most men don't realize. This revival doesn't start in a pharmacy or a clinic. It begins with something far more natural and personal, something you can do right at home, in less than 1 minute a day. Because when you understand how one simple act, as natural as chewing, can reignite the biochemical engine behind your strength, your blood flow, and your confidence, everything begins to change. So let me show you why this 1-minute ritual works so powerfully, and why the simple act of chewing may be the key you've been missing all along. 2. Why chewing matters more than you think. When I first began practicing medicine, I never thought something as simple as chewing could hold such incredible power. I was trained to think in terms of prescriptions, surgeries, and complex solutions. But years of treating older men taught me a lesson that medical school never did. Sometimes the smallest, most natural acts have the most profound impact on the human body. Chewing, the very thing we all do every day without thinking, is one of those acts. You see, chewing isn't just about breaking food into smaller pieces. It's communication. Each time you chew, you send a powerful signal from your mouth to your brain and down through your body. That signal travels along a major highway called the vagus nerve. It tells your system, nutrients are coming. Prepare to receive. Open the vessels. Activate the enzymes. Balance the hormones. It's almost poetic, an ancient reflex designed by nature to awaken your body's internal rhythm. But the truth is, most men today have lost that connection. We rush our meals. We swallow before our bodies even know what's happening. And as a result, that vital signal never gets sent. When you slow down and chew deliberately, you're not just eating, you're activating a biochemical orchestra. Enzymes in your saliva begin transforming nutrients into forms your body can actually use. Salivary nitrates start converting into nitric oxide, the very molecule that controls blood flow and energy. Your digestive system wakes up, your blood vessels begin to relax, and your nervous system shifts from stress mode to restoration mode. All of this happens before the food even reaches your stomach. That's how powerful mindful chewing really is. Now imagine combining this simple physical act with a food specifically designed by nature to fuel the exact systems men lose with age: blood circulation, hormone balance, and vascular flexibility. When you chew certain nuts slowly, something remarkable happens. You're not just absorbing nutrients, you're awakening the very chemistry that drives male vitality. The texture, the oils, the minerals, they all interact with your saliva, creating a perfect storm of bioactivity right there in your mouth. This is not theory, it's physiology at its finest. That's why when I tell my patients to take 1 minute each day to chew consciously, I'm not giving them a gimmick. I'm giving them a tool to reconnect their brain and body, to remind their system how to function as it once did. It's a ritual that reestablishes communication between what you feel and how your body responds. And if you're wondering which foods can actually trigger this remarkable cascade, the ones that carry the nutrients your arteries crave and your hormones depend on, stay with me. Because the next thing I'm about to reveal might surprise you. It's not a supplement, not a powder, but a simple, natural nut that holds the secret to circulation, strength, and renewed manhood. 3. The nut that wakes up a man's circulation, the walnut. Over the years, I've seen countless men spend small fortunes chasing the promise of better blood flow. Pills, powders, injections, and every so-called miracle supplement that promises vitality. But the truth is, one of the most powerful circulation boosters on Earth doesn't come from a lab at all. It grows quietly inside a shell, hanging from trees, waiting for you to discover it. I'm talking about the walnut, a small, humble nut that carries a level of biological power most people completely overlook. The first time I truly studied walnuts in detail, I was amazed. These little halves, shaped like tiny human brains, are nature's perfect design for vascular health. They are packed with a compound called L-arginine, an amino acid that acts as a direct precursor to nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for opening up your blood vessels. When you chew walnuts, your body absorbs L-arginine and converts it into nitric oxide, allowing your arteries to relax and your blood to flow freely again. I've seen men who struggled with poor circulation for years experience noticeable improvements simply by adding walnuts to their daily routine. But that's only part of the story. Walnuts are also loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically a plant-based form known as alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. This fatty acid works as an anti-inflammatory powerhouse, soothing the inner lining of your arteries and keeping them flexible, resilient, and responsive. Chronic inflammation is one of the silent destroyers of male health. It stiffens arteries, reduces oxygen delivery, and weakens performance in every sense of the word. The omega-3s in walnuts counteract that process, giving your vascular system the elasticity it needs to respond to stimulation and demand. When I explain this to patients, I like to paint a picture. Think of your circulatory system like a river. When the banks are soft and the water flows easily, everything downstream thrives. But when those banks harden and the flow slows, the entire ecosystem suffers. Walnuts, through their unique combination of L-arginine and omega-3s, restore that flow, bringing life back to the parts of the body that depend on it most: your heart, your brain, and yes, your manhood. And here's something even more fascinating. Chewing walnuts, rather than just swallowing them, amplifies their effect. The act of chewing releases oils, enzymes, and salivary nitrates that start converting to nitric oxide right in your mouth. In that single minute, you're not just eating, you're literally sparking the process that supports vitality from the inside out. So, the next time you look at a walnut, don't see a snack. See it for what it truly is: one of the most efficient, natural tools for circulation and male energy ever discovered. And if you think that's impressive, just wait until you learn about the nut that doesn't just support your blood, but fuels your hormones and your mood in ways most men never expect. 4. The nut that fuels hormones and mood, the almond. There's something almost sacred about how nature seems to give us exactly what we need at every stage of life, if we're willing to listen. For men over 60, one of the greatest challenges isn't just blood flow, it's balance. Hormonal balance, emotional balance, the ability to feel calm, steady, and strong all at once. Over the years, I've met countless men who told me they didn't recognize themselves anymore. They weren't depressed exactly, they just felt dulled. Their sleep wasn't restful, their energy wasn't reliable, and their patience had thinned. And time again, I've shown them how the solution didn't come from a pharmacy, but from something as simple and pure as the almond. The almond is far more than a crunchy snack. It's a nutrient-dense medicine chest designed by nature for male restoration. When you chew almonds, you're feeding your body two of the most critical minerals for masculine vitality: magnesium and zinc. Let's start with magnesium. It's often called the relaxation mineral, and for good reason. Magnesium works like nature's own sedative, calming the muscles, relaxing the blood vessels, and quieting the nervous system. Most older men are unknowingly deficient in it, living in a state of constant low-grade tension. You can see it in their posture, hear it in their voices, feel it in the restless nights they describe. Magnesium restores the body's natural ability to relax, to let go. It eases stress, stabilizes the heartbeat, and helps the arteries stay supple and open. Then comes zinc, the second gift hidden within every almond. Zinc is the foundation of male hormone health, the spark that keeps testosterone production alive. Without adequate zinc, your body simply cannot make testosterone efficiently. Even a mild deficiency can lead to a dip in energy, libido, and drive. But when you restore zinc through real, whole food, something remarkable happens. Your body begins to regulate itself again. Your hormones start firing in rhythm. You feel more grounded, more alert, more yourself. It's not an artificial surge like you get from testosterone injections. It's a quiet, natural awakening of your body's own power. And here's where the beauty of almonds truly shines. The magnesium calms you down, while the zinc lifts you up. One relaxes, the other energizes. Together, they create equilibrium, giving you not just physical stamina, but emotional clarity and confidence. You begin sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and feeling more connected to your inner strength. I've seen men who felt defeated rediscover a sense of drive they thought was gone forever, all by adding a simple, mindful chewing ritual to their day. It's proof that nature's wisdom often lies in simplicity. But if you're wondering how to combine this calming, hormone-fueling power with the circulation-boosting strength of the walnut, stay with me. Because what happens when these two forces unite is nothing short of extraordinary. A 1-minute ritual that can transform your energy, your mood, and your manhood all at once. 5. The Power Chew, combining walnuts and almonds. After decades of studying men's health, I've learned that the most effective solutions are often born out of harmony, when two powerful elements come together to form something greater than the sum of their parts. That's exactly what happens when you combine the circulation-boosting force of the walnut with the hormone-supporting strength of the almond. I call this ritual the Power Chew, and I've seen it transform not just energy levels, but confidence, focus, and even the way a man carries himself. It's simple, it's natural, and it takes just 60 seconds a day. Picture this: a handful of walnuts and almonds resting in your palm. You place them in your mouth, and as you begin to chew, the natural oils start to release. The taste deepens, the texture softens, and something begins to shift inside you. That's not your imagination, that's biology. Every chew activates your salivary glands, releasing enzymes that break down these powerful nuts into their purest forms. In that moment, your saliva is already producing nitrates, which combine with the L-arginine in walnuts to form nitric oxide, the molecule of life. Your arteries begin to relax, your blood flow improves, and your cells receive the oxygen they've been craving. You haven't even swallowed yet, and your body is already responding. Then, as you continue chewing, the magnesium and zinc from the almonds begin their work. Magnesium tells your nervous system it's safe to relax. Zinc reminds your endocrine system to start producing the hormones that define masculine energy. And because the act of chewing itself stimulates the vagus nerve, the body's communication bridge between brain and organs, you create a full-body response that's as neurological as it is physical. You're not just eating, you're sending a message to every part of your system. Wake up, heal, reconnect. What I love most about the Power Chew is how intentional it feels. It's not a supplement you swallow mindlessly, not a quick fix you forget tomorrow. It's an act of presence, a minute of reconnection between you and your own body. For many of my patients, it becomes a morning ritual, something sacred that marks the beginning of the day. Others prefer to do it before bed, allowing the nutrients to repair and restore overnight. Either way, it's more than nourishment. It's a conversation with yourself. The combination of walnuts and almonds provides everything your body needs to reignite vitality, improved blood flow, balanced hormones, reduced inflammation, and deeper calm. And all of that starts with a single mindful minute. But how do you perform this ritual correctly to unlock its full power? The next step is crucial, because the way you chew, the timing, the focus, the intention, can mean the difference between an average snack and a life-changing practice. Let me show you exactly how to do it. 6. The 60-second ritual, step by step. When I teach this practice to my patients, I don't present it as just another health tip. I tell them this is a moment of reconnection, a 1-minute bridge between how your body used to feel and how it can feel again. The beauty of this ritual lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require a gym, a prescription, or a complicated schedule. It requires only you, your attention, and a handful of nature's most powerful foods. Here's how I want you to approach it. Take a small handful of nuts, walnuts, almonds, or both, just enough to fill your palm. Sit down somewhere quiet, where you won't be rushed or distracted. Place them in your mouth and begin to chew. Don't rush this part. You're not eating a snack, you're sending a message to your body. Feel the texture as it changes under your teeth, the crunch turning into softness, the flavors deepening, the natural oils being released. As you chew, your saliva begins its hidden work. It mixes with the nutrients, creating that first wave of nitric oxide and enzymes that start repairing from the inside out. Most people underestimate the power of mindful chewing. It's not about how much you eat, but how completely you engage with it. The act itself tells your nervous system to calm down, to shift from fight or flight into rest and restore. It activates digestion, increases circulation, and signals your cells to open up and receive. As you continue chewing, focus on the rhythm. Let your mind slow down with each movement. You'll notice you're breathing deep and naturally. That's your body's way of responding. You're creating balance, harmony, and flow all at once. Aim for a full 60 seconds. You'll be surprised at how long that feels when you're truly present. By the time the nuts have turned into a smooth, buttery paste, you've already unlocked their full potential. When you finally swallow, do so slowly. Follow it with a glass of water. Nothing cold, just clean and room temperature. That water carries the nutrients deeper into your system, supporting absorption and circulation. What you've just done may seem simple, but inside, your blood vessels are opening, your hormones are stabilizing, and your body is shifting from fatigue to rejuvenation. Over time, this single minute becomes something sacred, a daily act of respect for yourself. The men who commit to it often tell me it's not just their physical health that changes, but their mindset. They feel calmer, more in control, more connected to who they are. And if you're wondering when you'll start to feel these changes, when this quiet ritual begins to show its real, visible results, then stay with me, because what happens next will surprise you. 7. The results. What happens when you stay consistent? When men first begin this ritual, most don't expect much. They think, how could something this simple possibly make a difference? But that's exactly where the magic lies. The power isn't in complexity, it's in consistency. I've watched men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who began this 1-minute practice with skepticism later come back to me with a quiet, almost humble smile. They didn't just see change, they felt it. Deep, steady, undeniable change. The first thing they often notice isn't in the mirror, it's in how they wake up. Their mornings start to feel lighter. They rise with more energy and less stiffness. That heavy, sluggish feeling that used to sit in their chest begins to fade. Within a week or two, their focus sharpens. Their minds feel clearer. Their moods more stable. It's as if a fog they didn't even know was there starts to lift. And then, one morning, something remarkable happens. They wake up to that unmistakable sign of vitality they thought was gone for good. That quiet reassurance that their body still remembers, still responds, still works. You see, the beauty of this 60-second chew isn't just in the physical transformation, it's in what it restores emotionally. It's the return of confidence, the feeling of being alive in your own skin again, the calm assurance that you're not fading, you're simply learning to fuel yourself the right way. Men tell me their partners notice the difference too. There's more warmth in their touch, more energy in their presence. They stand taller, breathe deeper, laugh more easily. It's not about performance, it's about identity. This ritual reconnects you with the man you've always been. On a biological level, everything begins aligning again. Your nitric oxide levels stabilize, your arteries regain flexibility, blood flows more freely, feeding every cell with oxygen. Testosterone production steadies, and with that, your metabolism, mood, and drive all find balance. It's like tuning an instrument that's been out of key for years. Slowly, each string tightens into harmony, and the music of your body returns. But what moves me most is how many men tell me this practice does something deeper. It gives them hope. A sense of control in a world that often makes aging feel powerless. That's what I want for every man listening to me today. Not just strength, but peace. The knowledge that you can rebuild yourself, one mindful minute at a time. And while this ritual is a powerful starting point, there's one final layer to this journey. A way to take everything you've learned and turn it into a lifelong foundation for energy, focus, and masculine vitality. Stay with me, because this last step ties everything together and reveals how to keep your body performing like it did decades ago. 8. Turning a simple habit into a lifetime of vitality. I've always believed that lasting health doesn't come from doing something once. It comes from transforming that action into a ritual. And that's exactly what this 1-minute chew can become if you allow it. What starts as a small experiment can grow into one of the most powerful habits of your later years. A ritual that supports not just your body, but your mind and spirit. Every man who's stayed with it has told me the same thing. This isn't just about blood flow anymore. It's about reclaiming rhythm, presence, and pride in one's own body again. The human body thrives on repetition. When you perform the same act day after day, your brain and nervous system begin to anticipate it. They prepare for it. That's why habits have such incredible power. They reprogram you from the inside out. When you commit to this 60-second chew daily, your body starts adjusting its chemistry to expect nourishment, balance, and calm at that same moment every day. Your nitric oxide pathways become more efficient, your hormone production steadier, your stress levels lower. The body, in its wisdom, learns that it can trust you again, that you're finally giving it what it needs. I've seen men make this ritual their personal anchor. Some do it right after waking, when the world is still quiet and the day hasn't yet made its demands. Others use it before bed, turning it into a moment of reflection, a way to thank their body for carrying them through another day. Either way, it becomes more than nutrition. It becomes a dialogue between body and mind. You chew, you breathe, you slow down, and in that minute, something extraordinary happens. You remember that health isn't about chasing youth, it's about cultivating vitality. And when that habit sticks, everything else begins to shift. Men start eating more consciously. They become more aware of how food makes them feel. Some begin walking daily, sleeping better, even reconnecting with intimacy in ways they thought were behind them. It's a ripple effect, one small act creating a wave of renewal that touches every corner of life. That's the real promise of this ritual. Not just better blood flow or stronger energy, but longevity built from mindfulness, a way to live the years ahead with clarity, vigor, and peace. You realize that true power doesn't come from resisting age. It comes from working with it, honoring it, and giving your body the fuel it deserves. And if you're wondering how to take this daily ritual and pair it with one more secret that amplifies everything, your blood flow, your stamina, and your confidence tenfold, then stay with me. Because what I'm about to share next is the missing link that turns this simple practice into a lifelong engine of vitality. 9. The Secret Accelerator: How to Multiply the Benefits of the 60-Second Chew. By now, you understand how powerful a single minute can be when it's used with intention. But what if I told you there's a simple way to make this ritual even more potent, to multiply its benefits and help your body absorb every ounce of its natural power? The truth is, your body doesn't just respond to what you eat, it responds to the environment you create inside and around it. And there's one small adjustment that turns the 60-second chew from a good habit into a life-changing catalyst for male vitality. That secret lies in your breath. You see, most men chew while holding their breath or breathing shallowly. It's an unconscious habit, a reflection of how tense and rushed modern life has become. But when you breathe deeply while chewing, something remarkable happens. Every deep inhale floods your blood with oxygen, amplifying the conversion of nitrates and L-arginine into nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for circulation, strength, and endurance. Each exhale helps your nervous system release stress, allowing your arteries to stay relaxed and responsive. You're not just nourishing your body, you're syncing it with the rhythm it was meant to live in. Here's what I teach my patients. As you begin chewing, slow your breathing. Inhale gently through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 2, then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Match your breath to your chew. Feel the oxygen fill your lungs and flow through your chest. Let it move all the way down to your belly. That's your circulatory engine reigniting. With each breath, you're feeding your blood, your brain, and your manhood more efficiently than any pill ever could. And when you combine that breath with awareness, when you chew with presence instead of distraction, you engage the entire nervous system. The vagus nerve fires, hormones balance, and digestion strengthens. Your body becomes more efficient at using every nutrient, every drop of energy. You feel calmer, lighter, more alert. Men who practice this simple breathing technique while doing the power chew often describe it as feeling alive again. Their skin glows more, their sleep deepens, and their confidence returns, not from ego, but from balance. It's almost poetic, really. Something as ordinary as breathing, paired with something as simple as chewing, can rebuild what years of neglect have eroded. When you master this combination, you stop fighting against age and begin cooperating with your own biology. You reclaim control. You reawaken. But here's the most beautiful part. What happens after a few weeks of this practice is something I wish every man could experience. Because when your body begins to respond the way it was designed to, it doesn't just transform how you feel physically, it changes how you see yourself. And that, my friend, is where we'll end our journey, with a message that ties it all together, one that every man over 60 deserves to hear. 10. The return of strength, a closing message every man needs to hear. If you've followed me this far, I want you to take a deep breath and let this truth settle in. Your body is not finished. You are not past your prime. What you've lost over the years isn't gone forever. It's simply waiting to be reignited. I've seen this transformation too many times to doubt it. Men who walked into my office exhausted, discouraged, and uncertain began to rebuild themselves one small, deliberate act at a time. And that act, the simple 60-second chew, became their turning point. This ritual is far more than a nutritional hack. It's a declaration that you are still in charge of your health, your energy, and your manhood. When you take that 1 minute to chew consciously, you're not just feeding your body, you're reminding it how to live again. The walnut reopens your circulation, awakening nitric oxide and bringing your blood vessels back to life. The almond strengthens your hormonal foundation, calming your nerves while fueling testosterone production. Together, they restore the physical chemistry of youth while also rebuilding the emotional confidence that defines masculinity. And when you combine that power with mindful breathing, everything inside you begins to align: the heart, the hormones, the nervous system, the mind. Over time, this practice becomes something sacred. It's not just about improving performance, it's about reclaiming identity. You start waking up feeling lighter, more present, more grounded in your own strength. You notice how food tastes richer, how your mind feels sharper, how your body responds more eagerly. It's a quiet but unmistakable shift from surviving to thriving. Aging no longer feels like decline, it feels like refinement. The body you have today can still serve you beautifully if you give it what it's been missing. What moves me most are the stories men tell after a few weeks of this ritual. They don't talk about numbers or lab results. They talk about how it feels to hold their spouse's hand again and feel warmth instead of fatigue, how it feels to wake up with energy and purpose instead of stiffness and hesitation. That's what this is all about. Not vanity, not quick fixes, but renewal. The return of that deep, quiet sense of being alive and capable. So tonight, when you hold that handful of nuts, remember that this isn't just a snack. It's a signal. It's your body's invitation to heal, to restore, to remember. Give it 1 minute, chew with focus, breathe with intention, and watch what happens. Because the greatest proof of manhood isn't in what you've lost. It's in your willingness to reclaim what's still yours to keep. And if you stay consistent, day by day, you'll soon understand what every man deserves to know. That strength, vitality, and confidence don't fade with age. They return when you finally decide to call them back.